Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Your Favorite Black Lobbyist. I'm Alexis, and today I have a special guest with me, Kristin Casimir, Senior Manager of Government Affairs at Salesforce. She is a lobbyist, and she's also a friend of mine. She's amazing. She is beautiful. And she is ultra funny. And I'm just so thankful that she came onto the podcast
Keep
today.
going.
I can't do not too much with you.
All right.
But no, she's an absolute delight. And so I'm super excited to get into today's conversation.
Absolutely.
Hi.
Hey, Alexis.
Hey, Pearl. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And so I know you know what today's topic is about. It's about, just I want to hear your story, your perspective, your experience of just not only your career, but also just being in the government affairs space.
Yeah.
And just being a woman in it, and a Black woman at that in it. And so, yeah, I want you to kind of share your story, how did you start? How did you even get into lobbying? Because I know that's like the $1 million question we get is like, how did you?
All the time.
Like, did you go to school for that? Like, how did you? I know everybody is probably similar or different. So just want to hear your story.
Right. So, well, first, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me on your podcast. I'm really excited to be here today.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think this topic or my story, how I got into lobbying, I used to not want to tell this story at all just because I felt like I wasn't doing enough, or maybe I didn't know exactly what somebody wanted to hear.
Yeah.
But now I think I've formalized what it is that I've done and what I want to say to people. So, so living here in Atlanta, I went to Georgia State University, and prior to that, I went to Clark Atlanta, and yes,
Similar transfer.
Yes, it was a cute little transfer. Had to get my Black experience, and then moved on over to Georgia State. And so my degree was in public policy, and during that time, I was working at the Georgia World Congress Center, and I met this woman. Her name is Lindsay Strickland. Shout out to Lindsay.
Yeah.
Lindsay. I met her, and she was the government affairs person at the Congress Center. And she asked me, she's like, hey, I heard you're doing government affairs. Would you like to be my intern? And I had no idea, no idea what I was doing. And I was like, okay. And so I just followed her around the Capitol, and we'd go into legislative offices, and she would just ask for money in the budget. We worked with the appropriations committee and getting money in the budget. And so just seeing her and just all the players move in the Capitol, I was like, what is this? What is this job? Like, you're having conversations, you're making change, and then you're seeing the change happen and like gradually. Sometimes, bills, like, as you know, bills move fast, bills move slow. But yeah, so as I was doing that, I was like, this is something that I want to do. And so right after that internship, I did internship after another, all in the government affairs / policy space. Worked on a few campaigns as well, and then just continued to build my network in the political space here in Georgia.
I'm really glad you said that, because your story is actually really similar to mine. But also, I'm glad you mentioned one thing about, you didn't think if it would like resonate with somebody.
Right.
And so I think a lot of people, especially Black women, they kind of like shy away from like sometimes telling their story or like their experience, because they're like, I don't think it's not gonna
help you.
Yeah, but it's like you never know, right? And so that's why I'm glad to have these conversations, because like I said, I didn't know that, but that's exactly how it kind of happened for me and how I got into this space. I was in college. I didn't know what lobbying was. I was getting my degree in political science, and I actually had an internship in DC, and I didn't know what lobbying was or what kind of work this was. And so when I'm going to the Capitol, I'm having conversations and meetings, and I'm like, this is nice. I'm like, what is this? And then we're building relationships, building a network. And I'm like, this actually fits me and my personality. And the biggest thing I always pass down to interns or even people that are like mentees is that tailor the job to you. Don't tailor yourself to the job.
Right.
Did I say that correctly? So it's like, because when you want to find something that in a sense fits your personality, fits you, so it doesn't feel like you're showing up inauthentic to a degree.
Right.
And I know that can be a double-edged sword for some people, especially people of color, specifically Black women in corporate spaces or in the workforce, because I don't think that we can always show up as our authentic selves all the time, but that also may not be everybody's experience as well.
Right.
So
exactly.
I'm really glad you mentioned that, because your story kind of like is relevant to mine or related to mine. So.
Similar. Very similar. Yeah. And I appreciate that. And I think that things, life, everything kind of happens organically. But in school, I don't remember even being a public policy major. I don't remember a lobbyist or anyone in government affairs coming to talk to the class to tell us about this industry, right? You just kind of had to figure it out working on a campaign or figure it out just being in the policy space. And it's funny, in Florida, I cover Florida as well. And I remember going to Florida for the first time in this role, and someone approached me and they were like, hey, so are you a part of the process? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what process? What do you mean? And he was like, the process, like you're a part of the process. And I was like, I have no idea what it is. So basically it's like this industry, like, are you in this world? But they call it the process. So it was very interesting. So shout out to Florida. I mean, I guess I'm a part of the process.
Right.
Yes.
Well, you said shout out to Florida. I'm like, Florida is its own world, I feel like.
I'm not going to hate on Florida. Let's...
You said not too much of my state.
Look,
that I gotta cover.
But, yeah.
Anyway. But I'm actually glad you mentioned that, because there is a piece that I did want to transition to one question of like, what were some did you come across any like cultural shocks or differences in this space? It doesn't necessarily have to come from a Black experience, but even like I know for me, like I had a culture shock just even attending UGA, right? Like I grew up having a pretty diverse friend group, a diverse classroom or education space.
Okay.
And so going to a space where it was just mostly like I'm the only person or all white space, it was like, oh, this is a lot. But also too, coming into like the government affairs space, which especially in the state of Georgia, and I'm pretty sure it's similar for Florida as well, it's predominantly male dominated and white.
Yes.
And so it's not necessarily just from a racial or ethnicity perspective, but also like a lingo perspective.
Right.
There was like certain cultural nuances and like ways of having to navigate that space to like, I learned different, like my friends be killing me, but they hate when I do it, but like I've learned different cultural slang terms, hobnobbing.
What? I'm sorry?
Hobnob.
I heard of the restaurant.
I was there last night.
What do you have?
But I had the salmon.
Nachos?
No, the salmon.
They have
and a
salmon
lemon
at Hobnob?
Yeah, it's actually really good.
Girl.
No, literally. It was really it was seasoned. Girl.
With what? Broccoli and mashed potatoes on the side? You could have got that at Longhorn.
Oh, you're right.
Get what?
Okay.
What does hobnobbing mean?
Like, exactly. Coming together. Like
gathering? Who says hobnobbing?
You know who says hobnobbing.
No, I really don't know who says hobnobbing. Black people say hobnobbing?
No. White people. The white folks say hobnob. Yes, they do. The older white people say hobnob.
I have never.
Yes. I have been in conversations and I'm like, what? Or like,
that is hilarious.
I learned a hoot and a holler. You're a hoot. And you got to say it.
White people don't say hootin'.
Yes, they do.
Black people say hootin' and hollering.
No. I think we just now started saying
no.
That. Girl, I'm telling you.
I promise you.
Girl.
Oh my God. I can't believe you're lying on this. Okay.
Girl, I was there when that man was like, oh, he's such a hoot. And I was like, it's a hoot.
Oh, like a hoot. Yeah, you're a hoot. Like, yeah, you're a hoot. Like, you're hilarious.
You're a funny
You're
guy.
funny.
Yeah.
But hooting and hollering is something different. And I'm not even the blackest of the black. That's hooting and hollering is you just hooting and hollering. Just hooting, talking and hollering.
Oh.
But if I say, oh, Alexis, she's such a hoot. Like, that means like she's crazy. She's funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well, those are some of the cultural things that I've learned. I would say that. I'm just going to say just navigating the space. Mm-hmm. So like, I would just say like, what are some things that you feel like were a shock to you coming into the government affairs space? Just because you were saying it was new to you. So what were some things?
I mean, I'd hate to start with the obvious, but how very little, or not how very little, excuse me, how very few Black women there are in this space.
Absolutely.
As I mentioned, shout out to the white people. I love white people. I grew up in Catholic school, Lowell, Massachusetts. Shout out to Lowell, Mill City.
Really?
Catholic.
Girl, I know you from Massachusetts.
I didn't grow up Catholic. I went to Catholic school in elementary school where I was one of maybe 3 Black kids. So like all of my elementary school best friends, Brittany, Kara, they were all my Samantha, all my little friends. Like I love it. Anyway, but
show y'all.
I say that to say how very few Black women there are in this space, and I say that because my start in this, I shouted out Lindsay earlier. She's a white woman.
Yeah.
And so I just realized it's predominantly white male. Then there's a lot of white women. Then there's Black men, and then Black women.
Right.
So I know that's the obvious, but I did notice like there were very few of us in this space. And so even early on, I was trying to navigate and see like who can I find as a mentor? Who do I need to look up to as a female lobbyist in this space? And not saying it was very hard, but because there were not many of us, it was kind of a little challenging to figure out, okay, who do I need to talk to about what, right? Like, are they even successful? Like, that was something in the back of my mind that I hate to say, like, I see all these white men and white women doing all these things, but what are the Black women doing? If they aren't doing that much, do I need to even know them? That was something that I kind of struggled with early on. But that's what I'd say that I noticed, like, as a big shock getting into this space. But then also I realized, I say this to folks who want to get in this space, how, lobbying, I say, is not an art, it's a science. Excuse me. It's an art, not a science. Yeah. Because you can't like learn how to do this. You kind of just naturally figure it out, and you kind of do what works for you, right? Like your relationships with elected officials is going to look different than my relationships with an elected official, right? So I think trying to find that niche for myself was interesting. And so I just had to navigate that early on. So that was something that I realized.
I think that's real because it just, it highlights one that, the Black women in this space it's not as a lot, and it's obvious, right? It's
there's way more now.
Absolutely,
because we have a little group.
We have a group. Shout out to Black Girl Lobby.
Black Girl Lobby.
Yes. We have grown significantly.
Truly.
I mean, even since I came into the industry, and I'm newer in the space than you are, and so it's definitely grown a lot, and I'm so thankful. I think going back to what you said earlier about, kind of going to talk to people that like, you said there was no one really going to like the schools, like you didn't know that there was what lobbying was and stuff like that. And I think that now that we have and created this group, Black Girl Lobby, and there's more representation in this space, that we can actually go back and show people like, hey, this is an avenue if you're interested, or if you are, studying or interested in political science or policy, politics and stuff like that. And you may not want to do the campaigns because you've tried it and it doesn't work for you.
Right.
Or
knocking on doors is not for the weak.
It ain't for the weak. That campaign is definitely for a certain personality, a certain type of person.
Exactly.
And I think that's the other thing too, where it just shows that representation really does matter in this space. And also you did shine a light on the fact that your experience is going to be different than mine.
Right.
Your relationships may look different than mine, not just because of the type of lobbying that you do may be similar or different than what I do, but also it's just we're different people. And when we show up in this space, right, it's different. And I appreciate that. Like, it really shows that all Black people we're not a monolith. Right. All Black women don't have the same experiences or conversations, right? And I think that's the beauty of the diversity that we hold in this space, is that we can all learn from each other. We can all figure out what works for us. And even you learn like, okay, that worked for you, that may not work for me, but that's also a good strategy. You just learn and grow.
Exactly.
And I think that's great, to be honest. I think it really does, it does help. I know you kind of touched on a little bit about getting mentors and how that can, at first, trying to find that person and how that was challenging. Do you think once you did find that, how much of that shaped your approach and your experience maybe not necessarily in the lobbying space, but also just in your career and in life? Like, what did that show you, just grabbing mentors in this space?
Yeah, I would say, mentorship is so important. Like, it's so important just to have someone you can call to bounce ideas off of. Not even just to, hey, can you, what can I get from you as someone young in this space, right? Like, I don't really like calling. I have a lot of, I'm going to quick sidebar. I have a few friend tours I call. So
I love that.
Mentors. You know what that means?
Yeah.
I made it up.
Yeah, no. I said, go ahead, explain it to the people.
So a friend tour is a friend who's a mentor. I know. You didn't see that coming.
No.
So I have a lot of friend tours just because these are friends in this space who I think highly of, and I value their opinion. I value, their I value, how they work and their reputation. And so these are friends that I have turned them into friend tours, mentors. And so, some of them I'll just call and I'll just say, hey, like, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? But I also call just to check in and say, hey, how's it going? What's going on with you? What's going on with your family? But I just think the mentorship idea, right? It doesn't have to be a traditional mentorship. And to be honest, I didn't have a traditional mentorship with a Black woman, I would say. A lot of my friend tours are male. They're Black men, and some are white men as well. But I do also have a lot of, friends in the space who are like we mentioned, Black Girl Lobby, who I also, reach out to on a, time to time as well. But I'll just say, how important it is. And I think it's been valuable for me because, this industry, just like any other industry, is hard, right? Like, sometimes we don't know what we're doing, even though we may know the issue very well. Sometimes navigating the political landscape is very difficult, and you can't just walk into a space and just be like, I'm here, I'm Kristin, like, what's up? It's like, no, you need some guidance on, like, hey, I'm going to meet with so-and-so, like, what do you know? Like, give me some ammo. What can I bring up? Like, do they like baseball? What are their kids into? Do they like dance? I'm a dancer. Like, I want to be able to relate. So just having a group of folks, even just one who you can really like count on to help you with things like that, very just niche things, is super important. And it's helped me in the space that I'm in now. And it's helped me grow, not just here in Georgia, but, nationally, because I cover a whole entire region. So and every state is not the same. We mentioned Florida, they have different lingo. But, looking up and down, the United States, every legislature is different. And
Absolutely.
So it's been very helpful to me to have folks in different spaces to help me out.
I'm really glad you mentioned the friend tour logic, because it does kind of debunk that traditional mindset or that traditional thinking of like a mentor, and it has to be someone that's a lot older than you, and it has to be, they have to have so much wisdom, where it really could, that's great to have those, but I think it's also good to know that your person that is giving you the knowledge and the wisdom and really the heads up, or just kind of those niche things, can be also someone that is a friend or a peer. And that is, maybe a little more seasoned in a certain space or a certain area that you may not know. And I think that really bridges the gap of, I would say, community. Have you heard of the term like board of directors, like having your own board of directors?
Oh,
like your personal board of directors.
You know what I have? I had a friend who told me, like, I have a mentor that I only go to for this. This person I only go to for that. This person I only get. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I haven't set it up as structured that way. But if I really think about it, I think there are like, I only go to this person for that. I only go to this person for that, maybe. So I think naturally we probably do, but I haven't set it up as a structure. But yes, I have heard of that.
And I think it's so good because it really helps you. I think it puts things into perspective. Like, you lean on a lot more people and the diversity of those people to help you get to where you're trying to go, or even just to navigate spaces, because, even though, we have grown exponentially in the space as Black women and as Black people in the government affairs space in Georgia specifically, there's also our white counterparts that are helpful
so helpful.
Absolutely.
So helpful.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be like, I'm not here to shade.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what it is.
It is.
We lean on everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had a conversation with my pastor and how, his biggest hope is for us to all be one, right? For us to really connect and,
Okay, I'm okay.
right. As as a woman of faith, connecting and being God's connectors is a big thing.
Yeah.
And that's how we're able to grow. Like, we don't just make it here by ourselves. We don't just do it. Everyone
has had help.
Has had help from somebody.
Yeah.
And like I said, the first person that you mentioned, that introduced you, was a white woman into this space. And I think that, again, it's shining a light that your experience does not have to look like everybody else's experience or what people would consider a Black experience, correct? Because what does that even mean? I
don't know.
Right. But I think it's something that, I think it's helpful, and I think for people to hear, because a lot of people may feel like they don't want to share their story because they don't think like, oh, well, it doesn't fit the mold, or it doesn't look a certain way, or it doesn't sound, and it's like, does it mean like your experience is your experience, and it actually can
someone might resonate.
Absolutely. Someone will.
Yeah.
We're complex, multi-dimensional type of people, right? That has different experiences, lived in different environments. Like, I didn't know you, I knew you grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, but I didn't know you went to a predominantly Catholic school. So there's a shared experience, or there's an experience that other people that I know that were Black went to Catholic school that, that I may not resonate with that. I actually went up I think preschool, it was a Christian school. Yeah. So
like a Baptist Christian school?
Was it Baptist? I don't think so. Girl, I don't know. I think it was like...
They had you hooting and hollering?
No, it wasn't that. It was very like sit in that pew and, keep it P.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I was going to say earlier, you did mention your transition from when you ended up going to UGA, how it was like a transition, like a culture shock for you. But mine was technically the opposite, coming from Massachusetts, where it was pretty much a melting pot, but predominantly white, Hispanic, Cambodian, just more of a mixed group of friends. I know I talked about Georgia State, but I moved here to Atlanta for Clark Atlanta. So shout out there. But yeah, it was a culture shock for me coming to Atlanta, where I was like, oh my God, everyone is Black. Everyone looks like me.
Yeah.
So I went from standing out, which for me was a positive, which I don't know, for most people, if you feel like you're the only one, it's more like a negative. For me, it was a positive. I was the funniest. Everyone wanted to be my friend. You know what I mean? Like, I was cool. Like, I had all the snacks at my house. Like, it was all, so I was only one.
You
like,
the candy lady.
Yeah, I was the candy lady. Like, and like all of the white kids wanted to be my friend, of course. But, having that transition and that culture shock coming here to Atlanta, where everyone looked like me, I just kind of blended in. And so I no longer stuck out. So now what do I do? And so that was very interesting. And so I wanted to mention that because I remember you mentioned that earlier, and I was like, my story was opposite of that.
I'm really glad you shared that, because that is a perspective I would have never took into account or thought of, right? Like,
I learned how to be Black here.
Yeah.
Shout out to
it. And nothing's wrong with that age. But hey, right.
Okay. You ain't even throwing it up.
Hold on.
I'm gonna throw it up. You catch it.
Okay. How you throw it up?
Oh wait. Oh. I didn't know how to. I haven't done that in a while.
I know, it was just a little rusty.
All right, that's enough. Okay, back. Okay, how's my hair?
You were hilarious. You were a hoot.
But yeah, what were we just talking about? You're a hoot.
You're a hoot. Yeah, there we go. Okay. But no, we're talking about just
how call this hooting and hollering.
Absolutely.
Instead of whatever you
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry.
Let's do good. Mm-hmm. Don't apologize. Be you.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but I was but no, I was just pretty much saying how I really appreciate your experience in that take, because I think going to UGA, first off, I love the experience, by the way. Like, even though it was a culture shock to me, because my experience in the education space, or even my friend space, it was diverse. Like, I had Black friends, I had white friends, Hispanic. And so, like, I wasn't just used to only seeing me, right? I seen my teachers were also Black, my teachers were white. Like, I had a diverse mix. So going to UGA, it was
different.
It was very different. I'm just like, like, you know, like, of course we could come together in a student center as Black people, but when you're in your class and you're like maybe afraid to kind of like, hey, can I get the notes? Like, not everybody is always accepted, especially in the Southern, like in the South, right? And so going to a Southern institution, the perspective is different, especially when
at PWI.
Yeah, PWI. Yeah, I would say a Southern PWI.
That is different.
That's different than like a Northern or Eastern,
because I had a time
Western PWI.
I had a time at mine. Can I say that? Can I? Yeah, I don't want to tell the story. Okay. It's so random. I went to Southern New Hampshire University. I went to too many schools. Okay, real quick. I know. Graduated from high school 2009. Went to Southern New Hampshire University for 2 years. Did a 2-year program. Got my liberal arts degree. Then moved to Atlanta. Went to Clark Atlanta for 2 years and then took some time off, had to get my stuff together. It was way too expensive, and then went to Georgia State, finished out there. Southern New Hampshire, they were so much fun. We had an office hoes and CEOs party.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, office hoes and CEOs. Okay.
It was so much fun.
Nah, I mean, I'm not judging because, you know,
so we weren't like,
Cinco de Frico.
What is that?
Well, the same thing. What is office hoes?
What is Cinco de Frico?
De Frico. Cinco.
Okay, office hoes and CEOs sounds like you're gonna have to explain yours because mine is pretty self-explanatory.
No, I think mine is pretty. It was Cinco de Mayo and it was the Frico.
So only the girls were the Fricos?
No, the men they'll be Fricos too.
This was at UGA?
No, this is actually at Morehouse. This is Clark Atlanta and Morehouse. Girl, I used to be back and forth.
Oh, I'm cracking up.
Okay, back and forth, but you know.
No. Okay, that's actually mad funny. No, the guys dressed up as CEOs. And, like, they were all... Yeah, like the guys dressed up and like the girls were like, we had like the glasses and we were like,
the sexy.
Yeah, like the sexy assistants. Yes. Let me just tell you something. White people know how to have fun. Okay?
No, they do.
I don't know if I know Cinco de Frico. That sounds a little appropriated if you ask me, but can Black people appropriate? All right, moving on.
Do you want to get into that conversation? Okay, I didn't think so.
No, next episode with somebody else. You should bring it up too.
Absolutely. Else. They're going to be like, no, that's funny. Oh, that was fun.
You want to do the office CEO party?
Yeah, sure. Okay. You going to come?
I'm going to be a CEO though. I'm not going to be now. How? Get into it.
I'll be quiet.
Get into it. Next question. Running low on time. What's the Alexis, next question. I'm a Black lobbyist, and here's what I want to talk about. Being Black as a lobbyist.
That was it?
Yeah, no.
You're going to be too
loud. I play too much, sorry.
You do, and I love it. I love that about you, that I could cut it with you. I need to laugh. We need to laugh more.
We do need to hang out.
Absolutely. The last time we hung out.
Girl, ask the next question, because we can't
talk about it
on this film.
I know. Okay. I'm glad that you talked about because it was going to segue into the balancing of just being present and humility and just like all the things in the space, right? I would say just having the balancing act because, really being able to show up in spaces and how to navigate that, whether it's, via your mentor or friend tours, whether it's via, the people that you met in the space or anything like that. I think learning how to balance that and navigate spaces as a woman, as a Black woman, or just as a person, not even just in the corporate, but in life, to be honest. I think you do a really, really good job of that. I think you do a really, really good job of showing up in this professional space authentically.
Yeah.
You actually taught me that when I came in because, like I said, you were in the space before me. So you were one of my friend tours, if you didn't know that or not. Yeah.
That's so sweet.
It's not too much. But
not enough.
No, but honestly, I do want to give you your flowers and appreciation that like you did help me navigate this space when I came in. And you were so open and welcoming that usually I was getting from other people, not like in our space, but like the older generation that, when you come into the work, I don't know if you got this, but when you come into the workspace, it was always like, you can't really rely and trust Black women because they'll be the main people to tear you down. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, is that how it is? Yeah. But I always told people, I said, when I came into this space, I said, that was not my experience.
Yeah.
Not discounting no one else's, but that was the Black woman that I've come into, whether in the corporate space, that's not in the government affairs, even in the government affairs space with the organization, literally have been heaven sent. They have been so helpful, so nice, so kind, and genuine, right? And I would say just that has helped me so much, just to have that perception of Black women in the corporate or workforce, that we're not all here to tear you down or tear each other down. We're not all here to be the crabs in a barrel mindset. And so, for you to be this person who is still young, who is I'm
so sorry.
You are hilarious.
You know what this just reminded me of? You ever seen White Chicks?
Yeah.
When he was like, I'm so sorry. I can't be serious. How long have we been? Okay, I think I might have ADHD. I'm not. It's not prescribed, but I think it's like.
I think a lot of Black women do.
I apologize. I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize.
This is professional. Oh my God.
It's
okay.
Not. No.
Sorry.
Actually, a lot of Black women actually do have
ADHD?
undiagnosed ADHD. Absolutely.
Really?
Like it's not like from birth. I think we
develop it.
Yeah. Because I wasn't always like this.
Okay.
Something like not for real, not as bad.
Yeah.
We absolutely developed it. I don't know what the study is.
I think it could be contagious too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So no, I don't apologize for being you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's strike two.
But I just, just really like you being authentic in this space where I feel like some people feel like they can't be fully themselves,
right.
Or they can't like. When I saw you, I think the first time I saw you at a, I forgot what dinner this was. I think it was like a Black legislators dinner or something like that, maybe in GLBC or something. And this was years ago. I think it was at the Marriott Marquis years ago. And you were like cutting up on the dance floor, of course, professionally, but you were like doing the dances, and I was just like,
I remember.
Yeah,
was that couldn't have been. This was 2022.
Might have been. It was a while ago.
Was that when you stepped on the scene?
Mm-hmm. Around
like
that time.
No, excuse me.
Yeah,
21.
21, 22.
This was, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This was NBCSL. Shout out. I love a shout out.
Yes.
Shout out to NBCSL. That is National Black Caucus National Black Caucus for state legislators. Yes. That's when all of the Black legislators from all across the nation get together. And it was hosted in Atlanta in December of 21.
Okay.
I remember because I started at Salesforce in November, so anyway, it was December of 21, and me and Nikki Randall, shout out to Nikki Randall, and Danica Thompson, we hosted the Georgia party at the Marriott Marquis, and I sure was cutting up on the dance floor with Representative Dewey McLean.
Yes. Oh, yes.
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 Dewey. Yeah.
But like
that is hilarious.
But that was like, I was like, wow, like, but in a good way, because I was like, I let it dance, a little cut up as well, but I was like, I didn't think I could do that in this space. I was told to like. Not from people in the space necessarily, but like from, family, like when you get in there, don't be cutting up on the white folks. And I was just like, okay, because, I think it's necessary and needed for people to see that there's not a one way to do things.
There's not, especially in this space. I think that art thing that I talked about is just like, do you within,
of course,
these parameters. But it's like, it's a wide, it's a wide set of parameters. And it took, I feel like it took me time. I've always been, Kristin, the little teeny bebopper that kind of bebops around. but I also think I was a bit more censored, when I was younger and growing into this. It's taken time for me to get fully comfortable with my personality in this space and not feeling like I need to hide aspects of myself. I think I mentioned a little bit that I'm a dancer. I think I told you. And for a while early on, I was not shy about it, but I refrained from talking about it because at one point people were like, oh, you're a dancer? Like, oh, you're a stripper? We're in Atlanta. And so people would think that. And so it's like, no, trained. Music videos. Right. Vivian Green, go and check it out. Grown folks music.
Oh, really? Yes. I didn't know you was in a music video. Vivian Green.
Yes.
Oh, you gotta send me that link, girl.
I will send you the link.
Yeah.
You can put it in the
I was like, I can put it
in the comments too.
Okay, yeah.
No, please don't put it in the comments. But so anyway, but things like that, like I would not talk about it because people would be weird about it. But now, like you said, like I was on the dance floor, like I started to lean into it more and more. And so it takes time, I think, for someone who's, starting out. It's like, think about who you want to be in the space. I'm not saying change yourself, but think about who you want to be and what you want to be known for.
Exactly.
And remembered for. Yeah. And lean into it.
Yeah. Reputation, I think, in our space is everything.
Yes.
Because the only thing I would say Black women and Black people in the space in general, we don't get the luxury to kind of like, I don't say mess up, but like, we don't get the luxury to screw our representation up, and that don't follow us compared to like our counterparts from stories and stuff that we know.
Exactly.
So I think that that's good advice of like be mindful, and in anything, right, in any space or industry or career that you're in, like show up as, be mindful of who you want to be in the space. How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be perceived? And it's not necessarily a Black woman or Black person thing. I mean, I think that's for anybody, right? Like when you're showing up in a space, do I want to be authentic? Do I want to show up, remembered as this? Or, how much of my life do I want to share with my colleagues or coworkers? And do I feel like that's going to bite me in the behind, or is that going to actually help me? Right. I think that, and also recognizing and discerning what and how and when, what kind of information to like take from others to where you don't take that on yourself. You make it yourself. You make it your own.
I will say, when you were talking about what you want to be remembered for, and I'm blanking on the representative's name, I'm so sorry, but this was years ago, probably when I first stepped on the scene. This was probably 2015, 2016, and this representative, he was retiring. And I don't know, he took a liking to me, and he gave me this book, and it's called The Dash. Have you ever heard of it?
I think I heard of it.
Or it's a poem.
Yes.
And basically, the poem is about the dash that's between your birthday and your death date. And it talks about like how do you want to be remembered for that dash, right? And like it resonated with me. Ever since then, I'm thinking about that. So if you've never heard of The Dash, or I would say, definitely go check it out. Get the book, or just, you could probably Google it. It's a poem, and it just talks about, that space, that time in between your birthday and your death date.
Yeah. I think that's really good, because a lot of times I think we forget this is a journey. And that even if we make mistakes, even if we think we're doing something right, that we still have, God willing, the time, right, to kind of, figure it out. But also recognizing, like, my aunt, God rest her soul, she told me, live the life that you want to live, right? What does that girl look like? What does she eat? What is she driving? And I stick by that, because it really makes me be more mindful and intentional about how do I want to live my life. Right. Like, I'm not going to live my life perfect. I'm not going to do everything right or perfect, and life be happening. Right. But being intentional about, so I have a North Star, I have a goal. Like, how do I want that dash to look like? When I'm reaching the end of my life, whenever that day would be, can I reflect and be like, what did I do? What was that? So, and I typically do like a quarterly and annual reflection of my life. Yeah, I thoroughly encourage everyone, especially Black women, to reflect often, because I think we just go, especially nowadays in this hustle culture, that we forget to kind of take a pause and a step back. Yeah. And I typically do it towards the end of the year, and I just reflect on the year. I reflect on how was this compared to last year, the years prior? Am I growing? Am I stagnant? Right. Did I actually achieve any of the goals that I committed to myself? Right. Or did I forsake myself this year? Or did I have a chance because life was just life and all year that I didn't get a chance to even, I'm just thankful I made it through. Exactly. So I definitely always encourage people to take heed and reflection, because it allows you to take a step and just take a pause. And I think also too, you're able to kind of be like, oh, I did so much. I didn't even realize, and just take a moment to enjoy it. So maybe that's something I could, be mindful of. So I think kind of just like rounding it out, as we approach the end, I would say, what is some advice that you have for Black women specifically entering into the lobbying and government affairs space that you want to give to our listeners out there that may be interested or maybe, new to the space and don't know how to navigate it?
Yeah, I think I hit on a few points, but I'll reiterate. Definitely that if you want to get into this space, it is an art, not a science. So just be who you are. And even though it may take time to kind of lean into who you really are in this space, I think give yourself grace and give yourself that time to learn the business and then figure it out, right? Give yourself time. You're not gonna be the best government affairs professional in a week, in a year, maybe, right? It might take a few years. Another thing I would say is get a friend tour, right? Some of your friends are probably already your friend tours, and talk to them. Talk to them about what industries they're in, right? Figure out what is interesting to you. What are you passionate about? You don't necessarily have to be passionate to get into this business. I think a lot of people are, but some people are in it for the passion. Let's be real. Some people are in it for the money. Some people get really good money.
It's a lucrative industry.
Very lucrative. And then some people just, like myself, like I just enjoy the relationship building aspect.
Me too.
And so, that is the best part of what I do, is just being able to travel, meet with elected officials, kind of hear what they're thinking about policy wise, but also their personal lives, right? So I would also say one thing my mentor, Lindsay, told me early on, I didn't mention this earlier, but I would say for Black people specific, or Black women specifically, because I think we tend to, or in general, people tend to be like, I'm not copying papers. I'm not filing papers. I'm 27 years old. Like I'm nobody's assistant. And so she always told me that no job is too small and too little. And someone is always watching.
That's good.
And not to, scare you into that. But like my mom used to tell me, like, don't be out here picking your wedgie because someone's always watching, which is kind of weird. People are always watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
But someone, and I've realized in my career, like people have always like, hey, Kristin, they'll reach out about something. It's like, hey, I saw you such and such. Like, I don't even remember you was at that party, girl. You was there? You was in the back?
Absolutely.
With the white people. Well, yeah. So someone is always watching. No job is too little. And I would say if this is something that you're interested in, just dive in. Just dive in. I don't think it's a very interesting political climate right now.
It is.
I will say. So maybe my answer should be a little bit different, but I think regardless if this is something that you have a slight interest in, I would say reach out to somebody. You could reach out to me. I'll give my information. I could put you in touch with someone. But I would say just go for it. I think it's fun. You can meet, I think I've met a lot of really great friends in this space that I didn't have in college. Like your work friends sometimes become, your actual friends. And so I would just tell these Black women to try it anyway. Try it anyway. And have a conversation.
Yeah. I really appreciate that. I would go a step further and just say, try it scared.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do it scared. Because I think sometimes we allow our fear to dictate how we make decisions at times or how we navigate certain spaces because we don't think it's for us. But I think I would say or encourage, like, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself to just certain things if you're slightly interested. And even if you get into it and you're like, it's not for me, that's okay. Like, try something new. Okay. Yeah. And I think that's the beautiful part about, the world and the country that we live in, is that we are able to have the freedom as of right now to try something new, to transition into new things. I mean, I have transitioned from the corporate lobbying space into this, right? So it doesn't have to look a certain way.
Correct.
Which I think is beautiful. And so I really appreciate your advice on that. I really hope that resonated with somebody.
Me too. I truly do.
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure it has. I mean, I think, even though we cut up a little bit today, I think our conversation was really, really good. I think it should be helpful to somebody. I learned a lot about you personally, but also learned a lot as well as a young woman or a Black woman in this space, or just in life and my career in general. So I really, really appreciate you, and thank you for coming on today, Kristin.
Having me today.
You are a light and a joy, not only just in my life, but hopefully to someone else's today. Thank you. Your voice is absolutely amazing, and I'm so thankful that you were able to share it today.
Well, I appreciate you for creating this platform for us and getting our voices out there. Because again, I think, as we mentioned, no one came to my school, and I would even say I haven't been to Georgia. Any of my, I went to 3 alma maters.
Yeah,
Martyrs.
Alma mater.
Alma mater. Yep. And I have not gone to the classroom, so I appreciate you creating this platform, and hopefully we can touch students in a more virtual way, because I mean, let's be honest, we're in a very virtual digital world now, but I appreciate you creating this space for us, by us.
Yeah.
Shout out to FUBU.
Shout out FUBU.
Do you have a pair of FUBUs?
Absolutely not.
Anyway, thanks for having me. Before we go, there's a lot of merch here.
Yes.
So I'm ready for my gift.
Yes, definitely merch is on the way. I'm pretty sure
right now.
I'm pretty sure by the time this episode released, merch will be available for pre-sale. So yes. But no, thank you so much, Kristin.
Yes, it is coming.
What?
I'm Black now. Black people always want a discount.
Girl, thank you so much for coming onto this show.
Thank you.
I gotta boot you out of here.
Catch Alexis at Hobnob eating salmon. The L is not silent.
I can't tell you nothing.
Thank you for having me.
I can't tell you nothing. I love you, girl.
Love you too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for joining today's episode. I hope today resonated with you in the conversation. Please like, follow, comment, and subscribe. Also, please, I want to hear from you. What did you hear? What did you like? If you have any questions, I definitely want to hear all of them. Thank you so much, and we'll definitely talk soon. Bye.